Hi, it's Mimi, and this is Mimi on the Move, and welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. If you have been here before, welcome back. And for newcomers, whatever we talk about today is just because it's on my mind, nothing more. I often do research and try to bring that information forefront to all of you and whoever I can share it with, because I try to bring information that's going to help us have a better day or a better life, something to improve upon. Anyways, that's it. Today we're going to talk about scammers. You know, we always, at least people I know, we say things like, my phone is listening to me. Why, when I'm talking with my friend, I don't have my phone, like I'm not using my phone, it's in my purse or whatever. And then we talk about something and I'm thinking, oh, we're saying something like maybe we're going to get some new winter boots or something like that. And then over the next couple of days, both our phones are showing up with advertisements for new winter boots. You all know what I'm talking about. I know you do. So I started looking into that and wondering, are our phones really listening to us? Like, are they? And if they are listening to us, who's behind that? Where does our information go if they're listening, and why are they listening? So I've spent a couple of months trying to dig up some research, and I've actually found some information. So that's what today is about. I'm very thankful to a YouTuber. His channel is called Rosen Reports. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. But there's a bit of information that I got off of this YouTuber's channel as well as doing my own research. So that's what we're talking about today. So let's just get on with it, okay? So we think that we're being spied upon, and it's true, we are. But how, why, where, when, what does it all mean? So let's talk about which apps on our phone that I have learned are spying on us. Here's the apps that are spying on us, the ones that I found out about. There's probably a lot more, but let's just go into the ones that I found. Facebook spies on us. Instagram spies on us. LinkedIn spies on us. Amazon spies on us. YouTube spies on us. Uber, we'll talk about that too. That's an interesting one. I was quite surprised. So let's talk about the percentage of personal data that each of those apps collect for app functionality. I don't even quite, what does that even mean? So the app functions properly? Because I've shut those things off and the app still functions properly. So I don't know the definition of that. And no matter what research I did, I can't find anything to explain what they mean by app functionality. Because the app functions just fine when you turn off the features. Anyways, so the personal data collected by Facebook is 91%. Instagram, 91%. LinkedIn, 74%, Amazon, 69%, YouTube, 66%, Uber, 57%. So that's the lowest on there. So that's for app functionality. So we kind of would probably all agree, okay, I will allow those cookies to be dropped or whatever because the app needs to function. Do yourself a test. Turn it all off one day and see if the app still functions. All right. Now, the most important thing that I'm trying to convey today is of the personal data they collect, what percentage are they sending it to? The percentage of personal data that these apps share with third parties are as follows. Facebook shares 69% of your information. Instagram shares 69% of your information. LinkedIn shares 37% of your information. Amazon sends 5.7% of your information, much, much lower than the other ones, right? Uber does not share. That's what surprised me. Uber shares 0% of your personal data. They do require 57% for functionality, whatever that means. But they don't share your information. And by sharing, I mean selling or renting your information to third parties. So now that we know that these top 5 apps, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Amazon, and YouTube, we know they share your information to third parties. What are they sharing? Well, your name, your location, your device information, in other words, what kind of device you're using and what model, etc., etc., what it is you are purchasing, how long did you view those items before purchase, and they also record and save and share when you pause on something to have a better look at it. Okay, that's what they are selling. That's the information they're selling. But who are they selling it to? So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Amazon are selling your information to very, very large conglomerate companies. So they have a clientele list of conglomerate companies that when they collect your information, when you're using their app, they send your information to these conglomerate companies. Well, then what? Where does it go from there? Now the conglomerate companies have all your information, every little detail about you and what you're doing, when you're doing it, who you're doing it with, how long you're doing it, etc. The big conglomerate companies purchase this information from Facebook and all those other ones, and they sell it to smaller companies so that the smaller companies know how to market their products and or services. It's quite a system. It's a real machine. So here's how it works. The smaller company will request information from the conglomerate. They're paying for this information. For example, let's say the smaller company has a brand new style of tennis shoes, maybe they're ladies' shoes, and they want to market these tennis shoes to ladies. So the conglomerate has all of that information because they've already categorized where you look, how long you look, what it is you're looking for, what you have purchased, how long you pause looking at potential shoes, etc., etc. So the conglomerates have all the details that the smaller companies need. The smaller companies pay the conglomerate money to access your information. Now, they don't exactly sell it to the small companies. The conglomerates rent your information to companies. So these smaller companies pay a fee to access or rent your information, all the details. So all your information that they're taking from you on all of these websites is being sold to the conglomerate. So yes, your information is being sold from the apps to the conglomerate. But the conglomerate doesn't sell your information to the smaller company. They rent it. So they can use your information over and over and over again to so many smaller companies, thousands of smaller companies. So that's how that works. So if you ever wonder how they got all your information, they got it because you were at an app, and your app the app you're at gave them the information. They in turn share your information for a fee to other people. So let's move on from that now that we understand that. I hope you understand that. Let's talk about the private messaging, like Messenger. Any app that you can chat with people, the private messaging. Even if you're talking to a company through their messenger system, all the messaging companies, all the messaging systems that there are, many of them say they don't actually keep your exact message. They say that they don't store it. However, here's what they do. They store who you were talking to, how long you were talking with them, where were you sitting and or standing when you were talking to them, and where the other person was sitting and or standing when they were talking with you. So they didn't sell the words that you exchanged between each other. At least they say they didn't save that, but they saved all that other stuff. Who you were talking to, what time was it, where were you when you were talking, and where was the other person when you were talking. So let's say, for example, take Facebook. That was the number one, right? Now, even though Facebook makes it very difficult to opt out of them saving your information, it is possible to do it. They just make it really complicated, and a lot of people will give up before they get through the process. But let's just suppose on Facebook that you were able to maneuver your way through the opt-out system and you were successful, and it told you that you were opted out of them saving your information and sharing it and so on and so forth. You feel really good about that because you did it. Yay, you did it. You managed it. You stopped them from saving your information. Hooray, congratulations. However, it's not exactly how it works. Because you see, you have friends on Facebook. And if that friend has also not been successful in opting out, all your data is still available to those conglomerate companies through your friends' Facebook accounts. Because everything in your friends' Facebook accounts is also being saved. Every conversation you had with them, what you talked about, where you were when you talked, what did you purchase, all of it. So unless all your friends have successfully opted out of Facebook saving information, your information is not saved, even though your information is not safe and secure or private, even if you've opted out. Isn't that crazy? Like, just think about that for a minute. So even though you may opt out, your friends may not opt out, and you're still open to all the nonsense and sharing of your personal information. What they call that in the tech world, I'm not techie, but I found out this is something that's called a shadow profile. And it's where your information is available through all of your friends' Facebook accounts. Either you end up with no friends because they don't opt out, or you just you get submissive and say, okay, well, they've got all my information, so that's fine. But again, even on Facebook, the stuff that they save may not be the exact words you've used. It is who you talk to, where you are when you talk to them, what time, day or night, that you talk to them, and how long you talk to them. This is on the messaging services now. So it's all about talking back and forth. Even though they say they don't save the actual conversation, they save who you talk to, where you are when you talk to them, when you talk to them, and how long you talk to them. That's what they save. That's the stuff that the conglomerate companies keep so that they can share and sell and rent it to other small companies. Now, let's say you have TikTok. You will never get out of TikTok. There is no opt-out. They have made it impossible for anybody to not leave their information behind at TikTok. So just know, at TikTok, whatever is going on in your messaging system on TikTok, it is a free-for-all for the TikTok corporation to use with, sell, share, whatever they want to do. So Facebook makes it very difficult to opt out, but you can do it. Google makes it very easy to opt out. And Amazon also makes it very easy to opt out. So those are the three big ones. Now let's move on a little further again, because we're in the chat mode, right? We're in the chatting back and forth. Then we have this fairly new thing called ChatGPT. Now remember, there is no privacy on it either. They're just another tech platform. So what I learned is that many people are going to ChatGPT and asking some pretty weird questions. Because everybody thinks like, oh, they're just typing in a question, it'll never be seen again, it's not private. No, it is not private. It's being saved and collected so that marketers know how to market to you. Okay, it's always about money. It's always about money. Anyways, so these weird things, some of the things that I learned that people are asking on ChatGPT is such as, my wife is doing this on Wednesdays at blah, 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 what time? And I'm just a little concerned. What do you think about that, ChatGPT? Or my husband is doing this, and so on and so forth. And ChatGPT will come back with some sort of a response. A lot of private things are being asked on ChatGPT. It's almost like they're using it as their personal therapist in many cases, because people feel like they're talking to somebody. ChatGPT or any AI chat forum like that, those technologies are instructed to agree and support you. No matter what you're saying, they're designed to support you and agree with you and encourage you. Nothing you say on the AI chat, such as ChatGPT, nothing you say will ever be hidden. It is out there for the world to see. So you might want to be mindful of the questions you're asking. Now, the difference between using ChatGPT as a therapist and an actual human therapist is that the actual therapist has very strong rules surrounding confidentiality and privacy. Regular therapists are not allowed to share your information with anybody at all. Now, ChatGPT does not have those rules, and there is no privacy. So anything you say in or ask, anything you talk about in ChatGPT is out there forever. Keep that in mind when you're using it. So the last thing I'm going to have to say about this today is, up until a few months ago, ChatGPT was deleting all data in the conversations. So the actual words back and forth between you and your AI ChatGPT thing, it was being deleted. And it was actually being deleted. However, guess who got involved? The Canadian government and the American government. They ruled that said that ChatGPT is no longer allowed to delete the data. They must store everything in case they come looking for information on people like you. So the government is involved with the AI chat technologies. They are now required to save all conversations, all questions you may ask, everything. It's against the law for them to delete their data. So let's just suppose, before I go, let's just suppose that you're a criminal, but you're not a very bright criminal. And you went on ChatGPT and said, how do I rob a bank and not get caught? The ChatGPT might say, oh, I can help you with that. Are you going to rob a city bank or a rural bank? Or what bank are you thinking about robbing, so that I can give you an accurate answer? So then you provide more information. Well, I think I'll rob the whatever bank in whatever town, whatever. And that stays there forever. Let's just suppose next week that particular bank got robbed and you didn't do it. But maybe you did. I don't know. But anyways, all I'm saying is the government now has access to all of these AI technology programs, and they can ask them these questions. Who asked in recent weeks, months, whatever, about robbing a bank in such and such a place, blah, blah. All the names will come up. Yours would be one of them. You're automatically a suspect. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say for today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about privacy and the internet. Just know that there really isn't any. But good on Uber. They're not selling any of your information to anybody. So good for Uber to do that. And yeah, the rest of them are. They're just selling it and making big money on your personal stuff. Anyways, that's it for today. Bye for now. I will continue to live with purpose, passion, and positive intention. Love to all. See you again.